What's up, folks? David Soto Jr. here, and this is the David Soto Jr. podcast. What's up, folks? Welcome to episode 37 of the David Soto Jr. podcast. I am your host, David Soto Jr. Today we're going to talk about, or I'm going to talk about, and nobody else is going to talk. Today I'm going to talk about being an old dad. If you watch it on YouTube right now, you can see all this gray in my beard, which I actually look young if I shave my beard, but I just haven't gotten used to it, and grew a beard just like every other retired, I just want to say retired cocksucker that gets out of the military. They grow a beard. Some shave it off, some don't. I took a while before I grew mine. I promised myself I wouldn't grow a goatee. I did not. Which is very common. People want to grow some facial hair, and they might have a job where they are discouraged, or they're trying to look professional, so instead they grow a goatee, and it's just kind of weird. It's kind of weird to see all these old guys, which now I am one of them, which is the whole point, retire and kind of rebel after 20 or something years in the military, and so they grow facial hair. But I grew a beard, got quite a bit of compliments on it. I liked the way it looked. I did let it grow long for a while. Shaved it off because I wanted to look young. But really, something called me to grow it back. So despite all these white hairs in my beard, it's here to stay for God knows how long. Also, my author picture is taken with this. So, but my son is on his way. Like not right now, but April 7th is the due date, and it's January something, like January 17th or something. So I am 44 years old. This is my first child. We are talking about right away having a second, and I'm content. I'm content with having one, but I kind of wouldn't mind. I want to have a family, and I don't want to have a big, large family, but I've always wanted to have a family, and I've always wanted to have a family with you-know-who. So we are thinking ahead and wondering what's going to happen if we're going to start right away. You-know-who's concerned about being 40. Not 40 yet, but she's pretty close. So she's concerned about being 40, and so if we do have another one, she wants to have it right away. So I'm starting a family, and I'm 44 years old, and by the time my son is born, I will be just a couple months away from being 45. And there's no doubt, like there's no way around it, I'm going to be an old dad, and I'm really not concerned about it. And I have a list of reasons why. And one of those is I'm a considerably more patient person than I was when I was a child or a young man. So I like to compare my dad to my brother's dad. Now, granted, it's the same dad. We have the same dad. But my brother's dad is 12 years older than I was. So every year that my brother has a birthday, his dad is 12 years older than my dad was at that birthday. So let's say birth, right? When my brother was born, my dad was 30. When I was born, my dad was 18. All right, considerable difference in age, considerable different fathers. And granted, at 30, he wasn't the most patient of fathers, but he was a lot more patient than he was at 18. And as I got older and my little brother got older, my dad got older, and my little brother got a different dad than I did. Considerably different. And I feel that if I had a child at even the same age as my dad, even at 18 or early 20s, or even in my 30s, I would not be ready. I would not have the patience um, to be a father. And so I look forward to being an old dad and being more patient and being able to just let things slide off of me, um, and realizing that certain things just aren't a big deal. I'm still not the most patient person in the world, but I am a lot better than I was when I was a kid. It's awesome. That's awesome. Just swallowed a little bit and went down the wrong pipe or caused me to choke. So enjoy that, you podcast listeners. Enjoy that real life moment here. Another thing why I don't mind is that I've lived a pretty good life. Like I have done some things. Like my cousin sent me a text and said, "Congratulations, uh, I heard you're starting a family. It's kind of late for a Soto," meaning, take example, my dad, 18 years old. Take the example, every other person in my family, my extended family, having children very young. Um, having, I'm on Facebook Live and I get distracted. I had my firstborn daughter at 20. I think you have a lot more patience and common sense in your 40s. Yes, I agree. um, I've been, oh, my cousin says it's kind of late for you to be, for a Soto to be starting a family this late, but you've also done some things that most of us haven't. And essentially, he's saying that I've lived like I have retired. Like, so what he was saying was, granted, I'm starting a family late, not like the rest of my family, but I'm also have kind of done things that basically a retired person has done. I've kind of been retired or lived like that. I've am retired for a long time. I do get bored. I do go back to work. I do go make some money, but I've been going back and forth, not working full time since about 2005. Uh, and so, that's when I went to Iraq. That's when I got out of debt the first time, and that's when I had some money in the bank and was not in a hurry to get a job. It was the first time in my life as an adult where I did not have a full time job, and I did not feel the need to, or did not feel it, and it was not necessary to work full time. And that was 2005. And so I have been traveling, working, writing, taking pictures, living abroad. I got a phone call and it interrupted my broadcast, but I'm back. So, and nobody calls me, by the way. It's all uh, uh, bots. It's all third party. It's all sales calls. It's nobody ever calls me. So I never expect to get a phone call. Anyways, living abroad, I've just, rented huge studio apartments, lived where I wanted to live. I had two motorcycles at one time. Like, who needs two motorcycles? I lived in a hotel for 3 years, and I've done a lot. I've done a lot, and so I think that I don't have any regrets. A lot of people, like, I've been posting on Facebook stuff like, I can't wait to have a kid, or I miss this, or I would like to have a son someday, or a child, or start a family. And people, like my peers, people I went to high school with, people around the same age as me, um, old Air Force veterans and stuff, have always said, like, oh no, don't do it. Um, essentially hinting that it'll ruin my life. And I always think that these people are bitter because maybe their life was not necessarily ruined, but having a child at such a young age kind of put a burden on them, and they lost their freedom, which is what people are always said that I would happen to me. Like, oh, you're gonna lose your freedom if you have a kid, and enjoy yourself, enjoy your life. You have a great life, and I'm like, yeah, I've had a great life, and I've done a lot of fun stuff, and I've lived life like I was retired throughout my 30s. So I uh, I don't mind. I don't mind that I am gonna settle down and have a family because I've done a lot. I've done a lot of stuff, and I just I'm not. I have no fear that I'm gonna that I starting a family that I'm gonna be missing out on anything because I've already done it. All right. Another reason is I've come a long way as far as my mental health. Now, messed up people have messed up kids. Now, if you have some mental health issues and you're a parent, you're going to pass those on to your child. The likelihood of you passing those on to your child are uh, very good because more is caught than taught. So, what I mean by this is if you can tell your child, don't drink, you can tell your child, don't smoke. But if you set that example of being a smoker or being a drinker, they're going to pick up on that. You can tell your child to be nice to people, don't be rude. But if you're rude, they're going to pick up on that. They're going to emulate you. So for a long time, and they're not 100% gone, but I am more aware and I am a lot better. This comes with being patient. But for a long time, I had a very quick and short temper and acted out in anger. And that is a direct reflection of what I learned from my parents. Essentially, uh, I picked up habits that I didn't want to pick up, and even now, when I a really good example is a few years ago, I was trying to get out of debt again, and I was living with somebody and her child, and I was doing everything I can to cut back on expenses. And so I caught myself running through the house saying, well, why are all these goddamn lights on? And as soon as I said that, I was like, oh my God, I am my father, right? I am my father. And so, as much as annoying as that was to hear those words come out of my mouth, as much as I told myself I would never say something like that, there was no training. Like I didn't practice it. It just came naturally. And that is an example of more is caught than taught. The example you set is going to have a direct reflection on your child. And so now that I'm 44, an old man, and have been working on myself for a long time, I uh, I feel like I'm ready. I feel like I'm going to do my son a service by waiting until I got to this point in my life, by getting diagnosed with depression and getting on meds. And like it's really changed my life and changed my relationship with my son's mother. And I can set a better example now that I'm an old man. Uh, Now, the next one is kind of true, not absolute. I am financially stable. Um, I, I say this because shouldn't we be financially stable? Like there are times in my life where I'm like, oh man, look how old I am. Look how much money I can make by just going to get a job. Again, I make money, I save it, and then I don't work for a while. So right now I'm in one of those times in my life where I don't work, but I'm in not that bad of a situation. As an author, I have plenty of intellectual property out there that doesn't cost me anything to sell, so I can make some money that way. I uh, own rental properties. I have investments. I have a military retirement that I cannot yet collect, but I will be able to. So there are a lot of things going for me financially, even though I don't have a job right now or an income. I do have a job offer, a very well-paying job offer pending. Have a physical and all that stuff, but um, again, I that's why I say I don't. Being this at this age, I don't have any. Um, I don't think I have any problems getting a job because I am the age I am because I have this many years experience. I have a well-paying government job pending, mm, winning a security clearance and physical, so which shouldn't either neither should be a problem. So I can't imagine me struggling, uh, being in debt, struggling with trying to keep a job, struggling with being an entrepreneur and having a child. Like I don't know what I would do if I had to go through that. So again, I feel that being an old man, being in my 40s, is beneficial to starting a family. One more reason is I think that older dads are happier. Now, here's what when I started writing this, I know that I've seen guys kind of start families late via Facebook, right? I know some friends, and this is where a lot of friends that I know on Facebook are always telling me, "Don't start a family; you're gonna ruin your life." But there are other guys that start families in their 40s, and these guys are happy, man, and I can see it. Like, not like the fake kind of happy where they're posting pictures with smiles and everything looks like it's great, but just their attitude, the comments they make, the things they say, posting pictures of their children, like, they seem like happier people. Um, the other thing, what just hit me when I wrote this article, is that grandparents love grandbabies. Like, they love grandbabies. It reminds me of Zig Ziglar used to say, "I love grandbabies." Like, if I'd have known how much I love grandbabies, I would have been a lot nicer to their parents. And I think that, is it really that they people love their grandbabies more than they did when their children were babies? Like, or do they love their do they love the offspring of their offspring? Or is it because but at this point in time in their life, they're just older, mature, more patient, calmer people? They get more pleasure out of being around children simply because of how long they've been on the earth. I don't think it has anything directly to do with being a grandfather or grandmother. I think it has to do with the fact that um, they're older and up there in age and can enjoy children a lot more. And so take somebody who's has a 25-year-old uh, child, and their child has a baby. Why am I lost for words right now? And so take somebody who's 50, has a grandparent, then they father a child. Um, is a person going to enjoy their grandchild but not their child, or is it because they're up there in age, they're going to enjoy both? They're going to get the same amount of pleasure. I don't think it's because of being a grandparent is so fabulous. I think it's because being around children, your offspring at that age, uh, is more enjoyable. And that's where I think I am. Like, I have a younger sister who's a grandparent, a grandma, and I mean, she adores her grandbabies and is enjoying them. And I think I can get that same pleasure from being a parent at this age, at grandparent age. So, anyways, I am done. I had two pieces. I got to piece these together now, but I am done with this broadcast. I appreciate you tuning in. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to send them my way. Whether YouTube, Twitter. Oh, I haven't been announcing. I'm on Instagram, folks, and I keep forgetting. At David E. Soto Jr. Instagram and Twitter, that's where I'm the most active. I'm really more active on Instagram because I like posting pictures and I like taking pictures. At davidesotojr.com, I haven't been posting including my social media handles. At davidesotojr.com, you can find me on Medium, David Soto Jr. That's where I post all these articles that I talk about here. But if you're a listener and not a reader, then here we go. Just enjoy these podcasts. Find me, give me some likes or something. I'm trying to not have to take this job, which means exposure, which means selling books, and I still have that goal of selling 1,000,000 books, and I really would like to sell a bunch so that I don't have to go to work on an Air Force base in a government job. I can just work from home and stay here with my future bride and future baby. So I appreciate you guys tuning in. Thanks for listening.